All right, y'all ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to get this party started? Let's see what we got here. All right. All right, cool. Okay. All right, cool. Awesome. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, I want to let you know that Facebook has demonetized me. I've already been hit on YouTube. I've hit on Google, and now the latest one is Facebook. So I still need your support. On Facebook, they allow stars, and on YouTube, on the channel that I'm on right now, I am able to get super chats. And we're live on Rumble as well. So if you want to support me on Rumble, please send me a Rumble rant. I need your help right now. I'm begging and pleading here. Support me. I need your help. They're trying to make it really tough. They want to make it to where I cannot do anything. They want to make it where I can no longer do this. So I want to thank all of you for joining me. Please share this video. Get it out. Share it. I got some stuff I'm going to share you. Now, I'm pretty sure y'all have seen the title on this, right? Y'all see the title on this video? I put the exact same title everywhere. I hope Facebook don't get upset, but it's the truth. Joy Behar is suggesting that the GOP, the Republican Party, those on the right, they will all of a sudden be for gun control if black people get guns. What? So I'm going to play some of that. I'm going to play the clip where she actually says that. If you haven't seen it, it's going to blow your socks off. It's like totally racist. But before we get to that, we got to talk about Brett Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court Justice. We have to talk about it. Let me just get right into it here. We're not going to waste any time because I got so much to show you and there's never enough time. Y'all know who this is, Shucky Ducky Schumer, right? Did y'all remember what he said in this video about Brett Kavanaugh? He said he basically put it out there saying that Brett Kavanaugh's life, is possibly, allegedly, going to be taken, right? I just want you to listen to what he says. And I'm coming out the box with this one because you need to pay attention. He was calling for violence against Brett Kavanaugh and the Supreme Court justices from day one. And you can hear what he says here. You can hear what he says in this video about the threats towards the Supreme Court justice. Listen.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh. You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
What is the price? Because they're in that position for a lifetime. Right? So what is the price? I mean, seriously, someone leave me a comment, leave me a message. Tell me why. And I would love to see it. And you know what? The best way for me to be able to see the comment, especially on YouTube, if you do me a super chat, $2, whatever. But I'll see that. So please do that for me. Okay, just do that for me. Leave me a comment. No matter how you do it, just leave a comment.
You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
You won't know what hit you. Now, many of y'all have already seen that video, right? And I just wanted to play it one more time just to get a recap. Now, here's one that you probably haven't seen. This is outside of Brett Kavanaugh's home. And they're all out here. So they're out here protesting against Brett Kavanaugh because they are only doing what the U.S. Constitution is calling them to do. That's all that they're doing. The Supreme Court, that's all that they're required to do is to follow along the U.S. Constitution and not change it up, not deviate from it or any of that. So you have all of these nut jobs showing up because the left has called them to go out and terrorize and torment and harass the Supreme Court justices. You see it right here. This is a result of them doing it. They publicly put their home addresses on the internet so people can go harass them. You know what? This is the same thing that they did in the past. This is just another Democrat policy, another Democrat tactic for them to go out and constantly harass and torment anybody who doesn't think like them, anybody who doesn't go along with their ways, anybody and everybody. It's the same thing that they did during the Summer of Love with Antifa and BLM causing all of these issues. Seriously. And if I can, I'll put something on the screen about Antifa here in a minute, where Antifa in San Diego of all places, which is pretty amazing to me. But before we get to that, let me share something else with you. So here's a little tidbit of information about this shooter from today, or, alleged person, the alleged shooter. He actually didn't shoot anything, but he allegedly tried to assassinate Supreme Court Justice. Okay. He allegedly tried to assassinate him, but because he told the police officers that he was going to do it. Listen to this. He wanted to kill Brett Kavanaugh. Listen.
Jose, we've been told by several law enforcement officials that a man was arrested overnight near the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. He was armed with a gun, a knife, and pepper spray, and told authorities that he was there to kill the justice. Now,
let me remind you, this is on the MSDNC. And they're actually reporting on it. So they probably just said this one time. I didn't watch them at all other than saw this video today. So they're probably just mentioning it this one time so they can say, hey, well, we did report on the story. They're part of the problem. They're part of the problem because they all encouraged this nut job to go to Supreme Court Justice's home. They encouraged it. Nancy Pelosi encouraged it. Jen Psaki encouraged it. You remember? I should have got the clip where Jen Psaki was saying, you can go, just be peaceful. Be peaceful. Have you ever known for the Democrats to protest peacefully when it comes to abortion, when it comes to President Trump? Seriously, have you ever, or Black Lives Matter, when a black thug gets killed by a police officer, have you ever known for them to protest peacefully? No, they don't. It's not in them.
He was not arrested at the home of the justice. He was arrested nearby. Law enforcement officials tell us that the man actually arrived by taxi and was seen by police and other law enforcement officials that were near the justice's house. So he was arrested. He was taken into custody. It's a little unclear to us right now whether this case is going to be handled by the Maryland state authorities or by the U.S. Marshal Service, which.
So what I would like to know is, I haven't seen anything. Maybe you've seen it. Leave me a comment on this as well. Did he have an AR-15? Did he have an AR-15? Does anyone know if he had? What kind of gun did he have? Right? Because they keep screaming AR-15, AR-15, AR-15. They keep screaming it. What kind of weapon did he have? Well, look at this one here. This is what Mitch McConnell. Now, I really don't care for Mitch McConnell because Mitch McConnell, he's a total rhino, if you ask me. Right? He's a total rhino. But he'll come out and he'll say certain things that I agree with. I mean, they do. That's what rhinos do. They'll be like, oh, I'm acting Republican, so I'm going to say XYZ to get you to believe that I'm a Republican. But he's a straight up rhino. But listen to what he says here. Check it out.
First, just moments ago, the Washington Post published an extremely disturbing report. According to the report, a man in his mid-20s was stopped near the house of a Supreme Court justice carrying a weapon and burglary tools. He reportedly told police he intended to murder the justice. Reportedly, he indicated he was angry at the decision he thinks the court may reach in an upcoming case in light of the unconscionable leak from a few weeks back. So this is where we are. This is where we are, Mr. President. If these reports are correct, an assassination attempt against a sitting justice or something close to it, this is exactly the kind of event that many feared that the terrible breach of the court's rules and norms could fuel. This is exactly the kind of event that many worried the unhinged, reckless, apocalyptic rhetoric from prominent figures toward the court going back many months, and especially in recent weeks, could make more likely.
So he said he was in his mid-20s, right? 24, 25, 26. So are they going to want to raise the age limit from, because, you know, they're trying to raise the age limit from 18 to 21, right? So now are they going to try to raise the age limit to 20 to 25? Well, he was 20. Well, he's 26. So I guess they need to go ahead and raise the age limit to 30, right? Before you can own any kind of weapon, right? They keep screaming the AR-15, but, you know, raise the age limit to 30 because this nut job was 26. But they probably won't say anything about the age when it comes to this. And you know what they'll probably say? Oh, he was just a lone wolf. He was a lone wolf. He was just out there on his own because he's frustrated. They encouraged this. That's the only reason why he showed up. How did he get his address? Who put it in his mind for him to go out there and try to kill Brett Kavanaugh? Who?
This is exactly why the Senate passed legislation very shortly after the leak to enhance the police protection for justices and their families. This is common sense, non-controversial legislation that passed in this chamber unanimously. But House Democrats have spent weeks blocking the measure that passed here unanimously related to security for Supreme Court justices. The House's Democrats have refused to take it up.
You know why? Because they want instances like this happen. They want more of what happened today. They want more people to try to take out the Supreme Court justices. And what do you think would happen? Just let me ask you a question. What do you think would happen if he was successfully in assassinating the Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh? The left, they would go, oh my goodness, see, this is why we need more gun control. This is why we need to take all the guns. And then they would say, oh, this is so terrible. That's so terrible. Mourn for him for a day. Replace him with a socialist, communist, Democrat to come in and take all the weapons. That's exactly what they would do. They could care less that he's gone. They'd be all right, we got him out the way. Now let's replace him with a communist. That's exactly what they'll do. So they don't have any issues with it. Be honest with you, in my personal opinion, they don't have any issues with this nut job trying to take him out. They're probably more upset that he wasn't successful. Think about what I just said. They're probably more upset that he wasn't successful. And they don't want the Supreme Court justices to have more security, right? Just like they don't want schools to have more security. They don't want it. Why don't they want them to have more security? So they can have more criminals, more thugs, more evil people get at them.
Now, look, Mr. President, that needs to change, and it needs to change right now. Right now. House Democrats must pass this bill, and they need to do it today. No more fiddling around with this. They need to pass it today.
Well, what do you think they're going to do? You think they're going to pass it? I really don't. Actually, they haven't. They're not going to. I mean, I already knew from the get-go. They know from the get-go that they're not going to put anything in place to try to help the Supreme Court justices. This should be a wake-up call to the Supreme Court justice that these Democrats don't want them to be protected. So why would they go along with the left on anything? Why would the leftists that sit on the Supreme Court go along with the left that don't want them to be protected in the first place? That doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't. But you know what? You have these leftists because they don't have any sense. The Supreme Court justices that are leftists, they're going to go along with it. Oh, yeah, we don't need protection. Or actually, we'll have protection when we're here, but you don't need protection because they still have some protection. I want you to listen to what Jim Jordan said here because I think it's really important because he was talking about protection for the Supreme Court justice as well. Listen.
Make no mistake, the Democrats' efforts today and tomorrow are to destroy the Second Amendment. You don't have to take my word for it. You can just listen to what they said. Joe Biden, President of the United States, said it's time to get rid of the most popular handgun in this country. Michael Moore said it's time to repeal the Second Amendment. Sheila Jackson Lee, in our 10-hour markup last Thursday, said if this bill passes, we're not finished. They want to do more. They want to take away people's Second Amendment rights. And Mondaire Jones, a colleague of ours, said in the committee hearing last week, if this bill doesn't pass, we will end the filibuster. We will expand the Supreme Court. We will do whatever it takes to get people's Second Amendment rights limited. The hodgepodge piece of legislation that's on the floor today, a combination of 6 bills, in short, tells Americans, law-abiding American citizens, when they can buy a firearm, what kind of firearm they can get, and where and how they have to store it in their own darn home.
And that is unconstitutional. Basically, what they're saying is that they should be able to come into your home and look around and snoop around in your home to see what you're doing in your home. Do you think, let me ask you this, if they suspected that Republicans, conservative Christians, wanted to go into homes of sodomites and look how they're doing with children, what do you think they would say? What do you think they would say? Oh man, you're our privacy, our constitutional rights. You're violating them. See, in this case, they see it okay to violate people who want to be able to protect themselves.
Direct attack on Second Amendment rights. The legislation on the floor tomorrow, as Richard mentioned, this red flag legislation is so dangerous. I mean, the idea that someone who doesn't like you can file a complaint within 24 hours, there is a hearing. You're not allowed to be at that hearing. You're not allowed to confront your accuser, and they can take away your Second Amendment rights is as wrong as it gets in our system, in our constitutional system here in America. I hope every single Republican is going to vote against this. I think we're going to be close. Every single member of the Judiciary Committee opposed this legislation, this red flag concept, last week in the committee markup.
You know what's really amazing to me about the red flag law, and I just learned this from listening to Jim Jordan, is that if they accuse you, someone lies and accuse you, and they implement the red flag law against you, you can't even go and face your accuser. What? I mean, what happened to the laws in this country? Aren't you innocent until proven guilty? And they can go and say this person, and they'll just point to everyone who's a Trump supporter, who's love America, who loves freedom, that all of them, they'll use red flag laws against those of us who want to keep our constitutional rights. That's who they'll do it against. So then they can come in and implement communism. That's what it all comes down to. It blew my mind. What, you can't even confront your accuser? What is that? So there's no more your day in court. You don't get that. You're just guilty because someone lied about you. So why would anybody, you know who goes for the red flag laws? And some of y'all might support this person? Dan Crenshaw. Dan Crenshaw supports the red flag laws. Look it up. Call him. Ask him. And I know I've had conversations with people in the past and they said, no, Dan Crenshaw, he's a stand-up guy. He's a soldier. He wouldn't do that. That's exactly what he's doing. That's exactly what he's doing. Now, here's another one that I call a rhino. McCarthy. I don't trust him either because he's part of the problem. Now, he comes out here and he'll say stuff that, Republicans want to hear because he's playing the role. But he's the same thing. Listen to him.
Earlier today, a man was arrested for plotting to kill Justice Kavanaugh. Over a month ago, the Senate unanimously passed a bill to provide more security for Supreme Court justices and their family. But House Democrats have let that bill gather dust. This is the same parties whose heated rhetoric has encouraged political pressure on conservative justices. Former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said, I know that there's an outrage right now, I guess, about protests that have been peaceful to date. And we certainly do continue to encourage that outside judges' homes, and that's the president's position. And Majority Leader Schumer said, I want to tell you, Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Gorsuch, you have unleashed a whirlwind, and you will pay the price. You won't know what hits you if you go forward with these awful decisions. Mr. Speaker, with words like that and threats like these, Congress cannot afford to wait. We have a duty to protect the court, the justices, and their families from political violence and intimidation. And we can meet that duty tonight before the House adjourns by sending this bill to the President's desk. With that, Mr. Speaker, I ask unanimous consent to take from the Speaker's table S 4160, the Supreme Court Police Parity Act, and ask for its immediate consideration in the House.
And you know, they didn't do it. They don't want protection for the Supreme Court the same way they don't want protection for kids in schools. Y'all need to remember this when the time comes. Y'all need to remember this. Y'all need to remind everybody that they're not even wanting protection for the Supreme Court. They don't want protection for schools. They don't. They want children to be unprotected. They want more gun-free zones for criminals to go see those signs. They want more of that. Now listen to this interaction here, because McCarthy, again, he's a rhino, but he says things that, oh, okay, that makes sense, right? Just because he wants to play the role. Listen.
Under the guidelines consistently issued by successive speakers, as recorded in Section 956 of the House Rules and Manual, the chair is constrained not to entertain the request unless it has been cleared by the bipartisan floor and committee leaderships.
Cleared on the Republican side.
Is the gentleman asking a parliamentarian question?
No, I'm just stating that there is no objection on the Republican side, so that would only be the Democrats holding the bill up.
Only the Democrats. Only the Democrats. And you know what? He purposely did that so they can make it known that it's the Democrats that don't want the American people to be protected. Supreme Court not protected, schools not protected. And they think that disarming you, the law-abiding citizen, so you can't protect yourself. Oh, no, that will protect children. Oh, but the criminals are still going to have it. But no. We have to do stricter gun laws for law-abiding citizens to stop the criminals. It doesn't make a lick of sense, does it? It doesn't at all. You can't make this stuff up. You can't. So, but I'm going to get to Joy Behar here in just a minute, but I got something else I got to share with you. It's really important. Listen to Ted Cruz. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this, but Ted Cruz went before this particular committee that's against American people, against our freedoms, against the Constitution, and he called out Americans in a way that he shouldn't have. You understand what I'm doing here, what I'm talking about, right? Well, as a result of that, he had to go on Tucker and basically, I'm so sorry. That's not what I meant. And Tucker kept reaming them and said, no, that's what you did. That's exactly what you said. And ever since then, I told everybody. And it's been true, because I saw exactly what happened. I said, you know what? This is going to work to our benefit, that Ted Cruz is getting called out for what he did against the American people. It's going to work to our benefit because he's going to come out hitting hard. I told everybody this, because I pay attention. And he's been, ever since then, y'all know what I'm talking about. For those of you that have been paying attention, he's been coming out hitting hard when he was he was supporting the Democrats and this whole committee thing against American people, right? But I told y'all he's going to come out hitting hard. Listen to what he says here. This is so powerful and so on point that I've had to share this video a couple of times already. Listen to what he's saying. It is extremely powerful.
Should be punished severely. Number two, hate is wrong. And number three, the machinery of the federal government should not be used as a tool to target and persecute your political opponents. All three of those propositions should be ideas that bring us together regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum. Unfortunately, we see over and over again efforts to politicize acts of violence. When it comes to white supremacy, when it comes to vicious hate groups like the Klan or the Nazi Party. In my view, they are unequivocally hateful, bigoted, racist morons.
And I completely agree. That's exactly what they are. But as a black man, I'm going to tell you that they should have the right to believe and think that way. Did you hear me? As a black man, I said they should be able to have the right to believe and think that way. Because that's what America is all about. That you can think differently and be different and live the life that you want. Now, when it comes to violence, physical violence against people, that is a no-no, right? That is not acceptable at all. That is not acceptable. We're talking about someone having a belief or a freedom or, just being who they want to be. That's completely different. But as a black man, like I said, I support them if they want to do it. So be that way. Be the hateful Democrat that you want to be. And they are Democrats. Ted Cruz is going to prove it here. Listen.
Who should be denounced and despised. I do think my colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle try very hard to erase the history of the Klan, that it was formed by elected Democrats, that its leadership was almost entirely elected Democrats, that the authors of the Jim Crow laws were without exception elected Democrats.
100%. 100%. They were all Democrats. They were elected Democrats or they were just straight up Democrats. And they've always been that party. And it's never been a switch, right? There's never been a switch. And for those of you that are going, there has been a switch. When did the switch take place? Did it take place before or after Martin Luther King? When did it take place?
And I also think today's congressional Democrats try to use the charge of white supremacy, which is undoubtedly evil, bigoted, and wrong, and weaponized by their own party. They try to use that as a proxy for attacking a political party they disagree with. And they do so by diminishing anti-Jewish violence, anti-Asian violence, violence directed at white people, violence directed at police.
What Ted Cruz is what he's not saying here is that all of the Asian violence and all of the Jewish violence has been from who?
People of color.
It's been from black people. 100%. Well, okay, not 100%. But the great deal of it, the majority of it, not in the high 90s, 97, 90, 98%, has been from black people. He's not saying that. I kind of wish that he would, but they'll come out and try to say that he's racist for saying that. So I get the reason why he's not saying it, but I am. It is black people doing all of these hate crimes to Asian people. I'm saying it because it's not right. I'm exposing it.
My view is simple. Violence is always wrong. Whatever your ideology, left wing, right wing, no wings. If you are seeking to hurt people, it is wrong. Is violence from white supremacist extremist organizations a problem? Absolutely. As is violence from other hate groups. The Brooklyn subway shooter was a known black supremacist who called for racial violence.
A black supremacist. And if you tell that to some black people, they go, what is that? Black people can't be supremacists. Black people have always been oppressed. You know what? They still go along with that today, that they're oppressed. You know, some of them, like LeBron James, he come out and act like he's oppressed. He's oppressed. Oppressed. He act like he's oppressed. And it's just been reported that he's now a billionaire. But he's oppressed.
The Waukesha attacker, who murdered 6 people driving an SUV into a Christmas parade, was a viciously left-wing black nationalist bigot.
100%. But you won't ever hear the liberal media acknowledging the truth of that. Never. He was a black nationalist bigot, right? Right? Because they say white nationalists are bad people, and there's really nothing wrong with being a nationalist. But Ted Cruz using his words in particular, because that's how they do it. The left, they constantly do it that way. Listen.
2016, another black nationalist gunned down 5 police officers in Dallas. I was there with President Obama at the funeral for those police officers. He did so on explicitly racial grounds. In 2019, 2 anti-Semitic domestic terrorists gunned down 4 people in a kosher grocery store. San Francisco in the past year has seen a 567% increase in anti-Asian violence. Anti-Jewish hate crimes in New York City are up 148% in the first quarter of 2022 compared to the first quarter of 2021. And then, of course, we have the violence of the Antifa riots and the Black Lives Matter riots that racked this country. As stores were looted, police cars were firebombed, people were assaulted, people were murdered. My colleagues on the Democratic side of the aisle sought to excuse, sought to apologize for, even went so far as raised money to bail out of jail the violent rioters committing these acts of violence.
Yep, you remember during the Summer of Love, Kamala Harris, all of them were saying we need to bail them out. I remember Don Sourpuss Lemon was saying that the people out in the streets rioting and burning up stuff because they don't have a voice. They don't have any other way. So they were excusing all of it taking place. Antifa, BLM, the Summer of Love, when they were destroying stuff, they were taking people's lives. But you don't hear anything from the left. It's completely fine, but they want to talk about, oh my goodness, white supremacists and gun control, white supremacists and gun control, AR-15, 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 over and over and over and over again. All they're doing is telling a lie over and over and over again to get people to say, well, yeah, you know what, that's true. I've been told it so much. I can't believe anything else.
When it comes to violence, the Department of Justice should not treat it as an excuse simply to target the political opponents of whatever administration is in power, Republican or Democrat, but instead, violent crime should be prosecuted vigorously across the board to keep people safe.
And that's the way it should be, across the board to keep people safe. But the left, they don't see it that way. See, from what we've all seen happen here in the United States of America, right? Happen here in the United States of America was for them to make it to where if you don't support them, it's perfectly fine being violent against Trump supporters, against true Americans, against Christians. It's perfectly fine, according to the left, to be violent towards a group of people because it's not what they want. Right? It's not, they don't go along with their leftist agenda. So they say it's okay. Just like, Brett Kavanaugh and the Supreme Court justices, right? They're going along with the U.S. Constitution, but the left, they don't want you to go along with the Constitution. So they send people there to try to torment them and even assassinate them. Jen Psaki should be put in jail because of this guy, because she incited the violence against him. You're not supposed to go to a juror's home and try to torment them to vote a certain way. to judge a certain way. You're not supposed to go to a judge home on a certain case or any of that. You can go to jail for that. She incited it. Joe Biden incited it. That's grounds for impeachment. Nancy Pelosi incited. She should be removed. Every single Democrat that said it was okay for people to go to the Supreme Court justice's home and torment them and possibly, in this case, like they're doing here, assassinate one of them, they should all be locked up. Because if it was Republicans doing the exact same thing, what do you think would happen? Just imagine if Republicans did this, put Nancy Pelosi's address on the web. You can't go find it. But if the Republicans did it and they told people to go protest at Nancy Pelosi's house and then someone showed up to try to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, what do you think would happen? They would have every single Republican that mentioned it, that talked about it, even on the news organizations, they would want to put them all in jail or have them removed from office. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. And again, like I said, the Summer of Love, they sent all these people there, right? Throughout the country, tormenting people. And look at this. San Diego. Now, this is really good. This is in San Diego, of all places, in California. Wow. California. San Diego grand jury indicts 11 Antifa militants for assaulting Trump supporters in January of 2021. This article is on my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Please, can y'all get this and share this? Because everybody needs to see this. This is like huge. This is happening in San Diego, California. What's going on, California? Are y'all trying to make a change? Even the DA in San Francisco got flipped upside down. He got removed. They did a recall. They actually did it. And now they're saying that other cities in California are starting to look at the other DAs, like in LA, in Compton, in Oakland, because of the crime. The crime is through the roof. So is California like bouncing back? I sure hope so. I pray that it does. Okay, let me get to the topic of this broadcast. Joy Behar. She is one of the most racist Democrats out there. And this is exactly how the left thinks. When I went to Houston, and the NRA was having an event in Houston at the convention center. And me being who I am, I have to go outside and play. I want to go outside and play with the other kiddies, So I'm outside and I'm just talking to people and I'm interviewing people. I did upload it, but they didn't want anybody to see the video because I'm just exposing them. I'm doing my job. I'm doing what God called me to do, Ephesians 5:11. I'm doing my job, and I'm just talking to these people out there. And I have my shirt flipped upside down, so you can't see, or flipped backwards, so you can't read it. So then I flipped my shirt around when I was done and walked back out there, and my shirt said MAGA, Ultra MAGA Republican. The black dude says, Ultra MAGA Republican, and you're black? That's what the black dude said. And the white girl that was with him, the white liberal, she said, oh no, we lost one. We lost one. Come back, we lost one. And he was trying to get her to be quiet. And I said, no, let her speak, because that's exactly how they think. Same thing with Joy Behar. Now, I don't know who this young lady is, but apparently she's like a conservative at some point. I mean, this is like the first time I've seen her on here, or maybe the second time. But she's on here and she's kind of talking like a Republican, and she's saying some stuff that's common sense. But it's kind of hard to have the idea that a Republican wouldn't even sit on the panel. But listen to what Behar says. Listen to what she says, because it is completely racist.
AR-15 owners are former military, 35 plus and married. So that's all I'm saying is that they're not just crazy people.
Okay. Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
What? What is this? What do we have here? U.S. gun deaths surged 35% in 2020, higher for black people.
People of color. People of color. People of color.
Because black people are killing more black people than any other demographic in the United States of America. Seriously. And black people can never get past 14% because, you know, the left are killing them off. They're killing black people off. They can't get past 14%. They get like 13.2, 13 something every now and then. Then they get up there and the Democrats say, okay, we need to increase production and Planned Parenthood. And then the numbers go back down. I mean, it's been like that for years. But yet you have out of that 13%, you have 6% that are males. And out of that 6% of males, they commit 52% of the most violent crimes in the United States of America. And they're sitting there saying, and she just sat there and said, oh my goodness, you can't make this stuff. Let me play it one more time. She just sit there and said that this is what she's saying. Republicans will support gun control once black people get guns. What black people you know don't have a gun? I know black Democrats. Black Democrats that own guns right now. So what black person is she talking about?
AR-15 owners are former military, 35 plus and married. So that's all I'm saying is that they're not just crazy people.
Okay. Here's the thing. Once black people get guns in this country, the gun laws will change. Trust me.
That's what happened with the Black Panther. Black people have been buying. That's what happened with the Black Panther.
You'll see some action.
She's right. But black people have been buying guns. The numbers went up in 2020. The numbers went up during the pandemic. Look it up.
Yes. Here's the bottom line to this.
Now, listen to what this wildebeest has to say. The bottom line is, and y'all need to pay attention because the only way that we can stop this, and she's going to actually say the answer, but she's not going to listen.
We all need to get off our asses and get out and vote.
We need to vote them out. That's the only thing we can do. That's the only thing I agree with her on. We've got to get rid of these people civilly, not the way that they would like to. They want to disarm us, and then they want to take us all out. I first heard that. I'm like, I came unglued. I said, are you serious? How insulting can you be? And see, Joy Behar, in her mind, she's calling Republicans racist. Let me remind you of something. She sit there and saying that the Republicans are the racist ones, and the Republicans, when they find out that when black people get guns, then they're going to be for gun control. Literally saying that the Republicans don't want you to be able to have gun at that point to be able to protect yourself. That's what she's saying. That's what she's suggesting. You can't make this stuff up. And she goes, and you know what? Who do you think doing all the lawlessness? Like I said, who do you think doing all the lawlessness? Majority of the great deal of the lawlessness. It's either Antifa or you have these black thugs like you see here. Look at this shit. Look at this. Just total lawlessness. Total lawlessness. And where's the left? Where's the liberal media? How come they're not going on the telly and saying, look, y'all need to stop doing this? They're not saying that at all. They're actually encouraging it. They're actually expecting people to show up and be violent like that. They're expecting it. Now, I hope y'all liked the broadcast tonight because this was, I mean, to me, this is like, it was so packed. It's like this stuff, you know what? God has really freed my mind from a lot of things. And he has opened my mind to so much more. I see this stuff and it just presents itself. And I just share it with you. I expose these people. So I'm going to ask you, if you like my content, I'm going to ask you, go to uniteamericaFirst.com/donation and help me out. Help me continue. Help me continue. I'll put up on the screen here. uniteamericafirst.com/donation. Please, I'm asking you. I'm pleading with you, support me, help me continue, because they what they have done to me, they're trying to hurt me as much as possible. But you know what? And again, I don't really like talking about myself, and I've made that clear so many times. But what they're doing to all of us, trying to hurt all of us, see, what they're doing to Will Johnson, they're doing it to you too. They're doing it in so many different ways, right? Look at this. The gas prices are going through the roof still, and they're telling us that we have to live with it. And if you don't want to live with it, buy an electric vehicle. You can't afford gas, but they want you to buy an electric vehicle that you can't afford. It doesn't make any sense. But you know what, Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, I like this. I would like to meet him. I mean, seriously, there's a lot of people I like to meet. I like to meet Tucker. I like to meet him. I mean, I really would, because he makes some very valid points. The gas prices are so bad. Listen to what he says. And I know many of you have already seen this, but I have to share it. I have to.
President Biden continues to campaign for more economic chaos. Meanwhile, I don't know about where you live, Jesse, but in my state, the price of gas is so high that it would be cheaper to buy cocaine and just run everywhere.
I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny. And it's true, though. It would be cheaper to buy cocaine, get hyped up on it, and just run everywhere. Not that I know what it's like to be on cocaine, but I'm just saying he's making a point. He's making a point that it would be cheaper to buy a block or I've seen them in the movies have a big block of cocaine. I mean, it's ridiculous, people. It's disgusting. I love this country. I love the freedoms that have been bestowed onto me and to us. And if I can't stand up and say what's happening, and you can't stand up and say what's happening, then what do we have as a nation? They don't even want us to be able to protect our children. You understand what I'm telling you? They do not want us to protect our children. And that should be a major concern to every single person in this nation. Kathy, thank you so much for the cash out. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much, Kathy. And then, okay, so someone, okay. Where we at? Hartman, thank you so much for the stars, Hartman. I really appreciate it. And then Retha, thank you so much for the stars. Thank you so much for the stars, Retha. And then Laura, thank you. I'm not sure what that one's for, but thank you, Laura. David, thank you for the stars, David. I really appreciate it. And then Christina, thank you so much for the stars, Christina. And then Nancy, thank you so much, Nancy. And then Keith, thank you so much, Keith. I really appreciate it. Then Kathy, thank you so much for the stars. These are Facebook stars. Facebook demonetized everything else, but they allow the stars. I'm like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. Penny, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Penny. And Tina, thank you so much for the stars. Tina, thank you so much. Then Michelle, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And then Jefferson, thank you so much, Jefferson. I really do appreciate it. Then Maria, thank you so much, Maria. Thank you. Thank you. Then Pam, thank you for the blessings. Thank you so much, Pam. Then Tammy, thank you so much, Tammy. I really appreciate it. And Mike, thank you, sir, Mike. Thank you so much. And Joe, thank you so much, Joe. I really appreciate it. And Connie, thank you so much, Connie. Oh, YouTube member, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Pato, is that Pato? Pato, thank you so much. I apologize. I'm terrible with names. I apologize. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much. And then, baby, hey, baby. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. And then Sean, okay, Sean, you asked about the video with the guy was ranting about the guns. I am going to put that on my Rumble channel. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to my Rumble channel, it'll be up there. It'll be up there tomorrow. Okay, so subscribe to my Rumble channel. I'll put it up there tonight. My producer's gonna crack the whip because she already told me I need to get up there. All right, thank you so much, Vern. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hey, let me tell you this too. I want to say thank you to everyone that become members on YouTube, but you also can, if you go to uniteamericafirst.com/donation, you can become a member of the Unite America First family. Oh, snap. You can become a member that way too, okay? So I really appreciate it. And I think what I'm going to do is that if you become a member on the uniteamericafirst.com/donation, I'm going to do some perks, right? I'm going to do some perks. I'll most definitely give some shout outs, and I'll do some perks and stuff like that. So uniteamericafirst.com/donation. I actually have it down in the ticker here. It's right there. It's right there. Yep. It's right there. It just passed. It's passed. It'll come back. And Kiwi, thank you so much. Kiwi's in New Zealand, right? Kiwi's in New Zealand. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. She's been there a while. I need to open up the phone lines and get her to call back in to get an update about what's going on in New Zealand. All right, everybody. Again, uniteamericafirst.com/donation. Please support me. Please help me out. They're trying to crush me because they don't like Will Johnson. Will Johnson's not a bad guy. I'm just doing what God has called me to do. Ephesians 5:11. That's all. God bless. Good night.